So we talked about the first two, right? Leases that lead to bad ROI, excessive maintenance costs that bleed into your savings. And the third is poor tenant renewal rates. Can you talk to me about, and I feel like all of this leads into that, right? If
Yeah.
you've been in your house for 3 years, you don't want to leave. If you're a
Yeah.
well-qualified client, that's good. But are there
Yeah.
any other strategies that increase your tenant renewal? And
Yeah.
also, if you can talk about how important the renewal piece is to you.
Yeah. I mean, the renewal is, to me, our ability to renew already, we kind of looking back at what we've talked about, it saves you on the property turn, right? If I can renew the lease, then you don't have the vacancy. You don't have that turn expense. It also, to me, signifies the relationship we have with the resident. And if somebody wants to sign another 3-year term, I know that I have done a really incredible job of being there for them, supporting them, being a trusted resource for that resident through their first lease term. Another piece of this, though, is if I am signing a 3-year lease on the front end, and let's say market rent for that property is $1,000, and then I am raising the rent typically in the last year of the lease to try to keep up with market rent for you as the client, so that as your taxes change and things like that, you can still cover your mortgage and all of your expenses that come along with owning a property. If I renew them for another 3 years and I don't reevaluate that rent rate, that could be a problem for you, because 3 years later, who knows what the market has done at that point. And so it's our job to, at the time of renewal, also run rental comps. Someone on our team named Tara, you probably know Tara. She runs comps for us for all of our leases that are coming up for a renewal, in order to allow my team the visibility into decision making about rent increases. And so you think about, if we're renewing someone for 3 years with a rent increase, then they probably, they really need to like us at that point. And so I think, again, it just goes to the importance of a relationship with your residents and working really hard to make sure that, you win when they win. And so if I'm raising the rent and they still want to stay, that indicates to me that I've done my job, and I've done a really great job. So I think, obviously, reevaluating rent rate, super important when you're going to renew a lease. The long term saves you, again, with a great paying resident who's taking decent care of the property, saving you that expense component of vacancy. And then the relationship, that you can't really deny that if we're renewing 70% of our leases across thousands of homes, while still getting rent increases and all of those other kind of hurdles that we'd overcome, the resident experience has got to be a good one. And it's really, really important to the success overall.
Totally. I get that. And you did a really good job at answering the importance of renewals from you to your client. But how do you drive that long-term relationship with your tenant, right? You're a property. What are you, like, going out and cooking hot dogs for them, or like what? Can you tell me a little bit?
Yeah, we just nail it on the renewal incentives. We love to have a lot of fun with those. So we offer a renewal incentive to our residents, where if they renew within a certain time frame, we're offering them all kinds of different things. And I remember going back to, probably 2-3 years ago, we had a resident who had gotten a 7-day notice, which is basically a notice that you're in violation of your lease somehow and you need to fix it, for having a big above ground trampoline in their backyard. And that is in violation of a lot of homeowners insurance policies. And so we sent them a notice. We said, you have to take down the trampoline. And they were so upset, because that was where their children played, and that was why they wanted the yard, is so that they could have this trampoline. And so we were taking away their fun of their kids. And so we said, well, how can we get creative and offer them something fun to replace this trampoline? And so Adam Regal, our CFO at the time, he was my boss, and we were talking, and he's like, I bought my kids a bounce house for Christmas this past year. And you can buy them on Amazon. They're a couple $100s. Why don't we offer to buy them a bounce house? So we legitimately bought this family a bounce house, right? And they were so floored that we took their concern And we created a tangible solution that would actually meet what they wanted. And it was one of those moments for me that really a light bulb clicked for me about how we should approach this. This isn't just about throw money and hope that they take the $100 incentive and that'll make them stay. If you hear someone and you listen to what they need and you really work to try to think creatively about how you can meet that need, like that's very valuable to someone. And that is what breeds a relationship. So we offer incentives. They're not always bounce houses. Typically they're more standard, but we also start reaching out well in advance. And I think that that's another component here where, you know, if somebody's required to give a 60-day notice, you'd think I'll just start calling them at, 65 days out. We start calling people 9 months ahead of time to check in. We do what's called a check-in call. And those are there is no other motivation but to say hello, ask people how they're doing. It gives us a great opportunity to either celebrate that things are going great, or if they have a concern, we've got 9 months to fix it, to turn around their perception and have their experience be a better one so that when it does come time to renew, they're ready to do that. So those are kind of some of our tricks of the trade, I guess. Creativity and reach out early.